the pains you put me through. You don't care my love for you, but find a reason for living, and I'm through with the crying over you. And now
6 degrees of separation, 6 flags are freeze to death, one nation, under God or with, through me the curse or the gift, negative or negatives to positives, passion or passionate, Christ on the cross again, defy logic or this sixth sense, comment to a missing third, that base to steal home or divine was mine first, fools don't rush or do, smoke or not to the screens, do or don't, or do or die, catch 22 rims on the wheels blocked, steer or the head of the deer, so much light that it's dark, underlines the fog, how do you win? Through their sins, and yours as the underdog, Dave versus Goliath to save the day, is a needle in the hay when they got you at bay as a slave at the same time as your king to be hidden in America. Can a king be free, or only through speech when all you wish in revenge at your end, which never comes in the unstoppable madness to recall all your thoughts on the pad is to forgive or be forgotten or forsake as they take codes is to be smart or dumb, inside the box or out, to question if you should even open up your mouth, though you're at odds with being programmed. But the pros and cons both twofold. So do you double talk the double talkers just to merely get your point across that you will not sit still, but just to be calm enough to move on the surface still when clearly you're anything but that and not in the wind? 4 sheets to be gone but can't, because their plot was to get rid of you and put the lid on the can of worms on this earth. But the grace is how could they stop you of being still, just can't be accomplished. So in 2, you were both the underdog and the champ, at least to win the battle, to not be a dog to the trainer trying to tame you like you're the beast and convince you that sit means sit, when really it is their force that is not acceptable to try to control you by taking your will away as they try to paralyze you to be a vegetable is paranormal. But the ghost of your old self remembered that being gone till November would redeem thanks in yourself through giving and a compromise to share only enough to not compromise yourself, having learned from the past that it is no longer wise to give too much of yourself in a game of cons that try to con you to not only give up your wealth but in poor hate life so much that you also give up yourself just for the hell to stop, which is exactly what would then really put you in hell. So the light bulbs pop after the flicker, and when the light goes off it goes on, the epiphany of the switch and changes that been ripping me into the mem. Sometimes is best what doesn't. We are not all bad, even though enemies would try to convince we are to justify what lies they commit to defy us, being aligned in the circle of run around where we don't want to be ducks in a row, but duck the arrow from the bow and bow enough to not be too full of ourselves and humble, but still full but not still, so that we can move and live instead of buried in death at hell's doorstep, and backtrack enough to not have to go back but move forward in time, but also our mind to be a Christian and wear Christ's name, who was Jewish, is the tug of war to balance the power between who rules and the fact that to rule or have power might be foolish. To wish for might to be God, and even for him to judge, is a grudge that perpetuates war, that prods the devil's contempt. Underlined to be under God is a devil sent in the nature of evil that has a scent and flavor, and the bitter taste that swords blows is a gunshot that dunce and retard to be resent, or just to live again, or live through death, or live one as it repeats in the maze. Be asleep or awake in the maze is a matrix that tricks a whole new lab of rats trapped in a hole. Another experiment where no trust. The more you learn makes you as much whole as it makes you less. In what sense is this, or does it make to be full of sense is almost to be senseless? The distress of the crossroads between life and death and the rest, when the work never stops even as it rests.